all looks aren't everything, but they are. Like, they really, really are. I wasn't a very nice person, and I can imagine people who know me watching this thinking, well, you sort of fucking bitch now. Pretty privilege is a very real thing. I'm just the most perfect person in the world.
Yeah.
You know, I'm joking, and I know that I sound ridiculous.
So welcome to I Hate Porn, the sex podcast from lustfeed.com. Today's episode is all about how to become more attractive and what effect that has on your life. And I'll be talking about that with British porn star Lenina Crowne. How are you doing, Lenina?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Tommy?
I'm really good, especially after not seeing you for 2 years, and now you're here in Budapest.
Of course, and you've seen me how many times over the last few days? 3?
Yeah, like more times than I had
we've ever
in my
seen
life.
each other. Yeah, ever. Yeah, you're right.
Is it possible to have too much Lenina?
Yeah, I think this is about your fill. I think give it another 3 years and you're like, please don't come back here. I never want to see you again.
No, I'm sure not.
He's just being nice.
So before we start, I just want to say it's a new show. So it'd be just amazing if everybody can give us as much support as you can. Like, please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, share it with friends, talk about it, ask us questions. It just, encourages us to keep making more episodes. And then, let's get on to how to become more attractive. I think it's one of those things that's a little bit different for guys and girls.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think we all have like the same insecurity. Like, unless you're one of those people that's just so bloody lucky and they're born with like perfect genes.
There's amazing genes, and people have like those amazing symmetrical faces and those amazing bodies and like perfect hair, and you're just like,
there's like one or two in every class or something.
I'm like, why wasn't that me?
So I think the rest of us, we all maybe don't feel adequate or have other feelings, and I think barely any of us feel adequate, especially when we're bombarded with images of super attractive people. People like you. Oh, but really, like, I think people, like, what a lot of your fans maybe don't realize, or someone that just bumps into you on social media or even in real life, they probably think, oh, wow, she's so beautiful.
Like, she was this way forever.
Or like, I could never be like that, or how I could never have a girl like that because I'm me.
That's really interesting. I have never thought of that. I've never thought of that until now. Now I'm thinking about it. That's so strange because I'm always so open about what I've had done, and the idea that, obviously if someone just followed me today, they wouldn't know, and they just be like, okay, maybe her tits are fake, but everything else, looks perfectly real. That's a really strange thing to think about. And it's also weird to think that if, like younger girls came across my social media, like my Instagram, and are like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. Why don't I look like that? Like the way that I looked at women when I was that age. That's quite sad to think about. I hope that they don't, but I actually get messages telling me that sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think it's sad. I think the bit that's missing is like when you're a teenager, I think you have like the kind of mum and dad effect. Like they're always telling you, you are attractive, and they're trying to build up your confidence, but you see reality.
My mum's dead. No, I'm really sorry.
I think for guys, it's usually the mums. Like, you're attractive. Tommy.
No, my grandma was always, because I have a very young grandma. She had my dad when she was very, very young, so people always thought she was my mum anyway. And, growing up, she was always... This is why I have such narcissism issues now. She was like, you're the most beautiful, most amazing, most perfect person I've ever seen. And she tells me this even now as a 26-year-old. You would think at some point there's a cap on the coddling.
No, that's good,
but it's constant. Like,
I like it.
There's like, oh, you're not flawed at all, you're so perfect, even throughout all the stages in my life. So the mum and dad effect is definitely a thing.
And you have that, and you also then see other people who you feel are more attractive than you.
Yeah, and then you're like, why are my parents lying to me? Yeah. Why are you lying to me?
Yeah, it does something inside, doesn't it?
It makes you feel... because I remember as a teenager, going through, really, really hating the way I looked. And my grandma would always be like, no, you're so perfect. You're so beautiful. And it irritated me to a point. And I'm like, why are you lying?
When did you start hating how you looked?
Probably when I was 12.
Like around the time you start liking boys or wanting them to like you?
Yeah, I guess so. Around that sort of era.
Yeah, same for me. I had like the double whammy of like just kind of getting to that age. And then I had this severe acne.
Oh,
like
no.
My whole face. I had braces and glasses.
Oh no, you had the full package.
Yeah, and it lasted until I was like 21, I think.
Shit, that's quite late.
So it was intense. And I just remember feeling isolated, I would say, because feeling ugly, I found it isolating. Like I didn't want to be like outgoing with people because I was kind of defensive, like ready to defend against like an insult or something.
Yeah, you put this like wall up around you as, I want to say, like adolescent, a teenager, because when you're insecure about the way you look, because, other children are horrible, let's face it. And it's almost like a way of protecting yourself.
Yeah.
I definitely did the same thing. I would prefer not to hang out with people, talk to people too much, and have like one friend or like two friends maximum, just to avoid the potential insults I may get.
And I think it like this kind of thing does have an impact on your life, like some good and some bad. I think it keeps you down to earth and grounded. I think it provides you with a lot of motivation.
Definitely.
But I also think it does that horrible thing of knocking your confidence. And I say even now, like I'm nearly 40, like my confidence is...
What do you mean, Tommy? You're like not a day over 29.
I love when you say this so much. Can we just do that again, just so I can hear it? And even now, I'd say I'm a confident person, but I still have like moments. Say if I'm like with new people I don't know, I just have to like push myself to be confident.
Yeah.
And it's sad that that's the case, but it all comes from this like childhood feeling of not being attractive, I think.
No, I like what happens to you in your childhood in terms of confidence and self-esteem really stays with you. Like, I don't want to say forever, but I want to say for a very, very long time. It can take a lot to unlearn these feelings and emotions and everything attached to it,
So when you were unattractive, what kind of insults did people... Okay,
Sorry.
when you were ugly.
Yes.
Do you think you really were ugly, or do you think that you were just not attractive? Because it's like we're just average, say?
No, see, this is a good question, because I wasn't hideous. And actually, when I put effort into myself and put makeup on, and I actually, I got attention, and I wasn't like a bottom feeder of society, but I wasn't what you would call stereotypically attractive. I was kind of like an acquired taste.
An acquired taste.
Yeah. So, back then I was more like...
So you were like olives.
I was literally about to say olives. Back then I was more like olives. Now I say I'm kind of like,
cheeseburger.
Like pizza. A donut, a good Krispy Kreme. Yeah.
It's interesting. People who are like an acquired taste, they get unusual compliments.
Yeah. I did get lots of unusual compliments.
What, like?
Someone, the weirdest compliment I ever got, actually, and I don't think it's very accurate, but I'll tell you what it was anyway, before I had any surgery at all. Or someone said, you look just like Paris Hilton. Because, you know, Paris Hilton, she had a nose job. I don't know if you know, her nose used to be a bit larger before. And it really kind of threw me. It actually was quite a boost to my confidence because I was like... And then I was, you know, got out Google and was looking at Paris Hilton in detail. And I was like, do I look like Paris Hilton? But yeah, that was a strange compliment.
My worst one is so embarrassing.
What is it?
Because I normally wear glasses. I don't wear them on the podcast because I just, My one is, a lot of people think I look like Stephen Merchant, especially with glasses on.
What?
It's such a bad one. And
yeah, that's not great.
And once a business I worked for, they brought a birthday cake, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, how did they get a picture of me on there? And then it was Stephen Merchant.
Oh my
God. I was like, oh no. It's true.
My nightmares are coming true.
Like...
Oh, bless you.
But we're not here to just talk about like how ugly we were. I think like the whole point of this would be like to help people, because I think people don't realize that I think almost anyone can look attractive and can improve their attractiveness.
This is what I always say, because I was someone that wasn't happy with the way I looked, and I woke up one day and I just decided I'm going to do something about this, and I'm not going to stop until I look pristine. And it's so strange to me that, because, you know, nearly everyone complains about their looks, but I feel like I don't know anyone else. I have one friend who's the same as me, but other than that, I don't know anyone else who was as committed to the cause of being hot, you know? I'm like, I'm going to be hot and I'm not going to stop doing so.
But there's different levels. Like, you've aimed to be hot, whereas some people just aim to be a bit more attractive.
Yeah, so that's very true. I guess in my head, because I'm such a perfectionist, I was like, I need to be perfect. And don't get me wrong, it can feel quite unhealthy sometimes mentally, because you're always striving for this almost unreachable level of perfection. Whereas, like you said, a lot of people just want boobs that are a little bit less saggy, a little bit bigger. They have a tiny bump on their nose, and that's all. And they don't even tell anyone, you know? It's all very kind of hush-hush, and they don't even tell their workplace what they've had done. And that baffles me.
And I find often people they perceive something as an imperfection that nobody else sees. Like one of my friends, she had a mole removed. Didn't notice, but it was like bothering her whole life. My uncle, he had surgery on his nose because one nostril was slightly wider than the other.
Wow.
And it was a big thing. He was hung up on it for years.
That's really interesting, especially
none of us knew that he had it. None of us knew that he had one nostril bigger than the other.
Someone must have said something.
Maybe
all
when he was a child or something.
is like one comment for that to marinate in your mind for years and years. And maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
It's interesting, especially with men as well, because I feel like men are, you know, obviously less likely to get surgery.
It depends. I think it depends on the culture of the country. I think the UK, at least while I was growing up, like men didn't really follow fashion. Yeah. It was like seen as feminine to follow fashion. Yeah. And now I think that's changed. I think there's a lot more pressure than there used to be.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, you know, just a t-shirt and jeans is not acceptable anymore for men. You have to go to, I don't know, I can't think of any men's clothing stores. You have to go to a men's clothing store and find something fashionable and nice.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like, even on before you got your surgeries, I guess there were other things you did to become more attractive first.
Yeah, like the way that I dressed. I would tend to show more skin, so I wore really short skirts a lot. I don't really wear skirts at all now. I guess that also has to do with maturing. But yeah, really short skirts, like, knee-high boots all the time, kind of just as much skin as possible to distract from my face.
Yeah, that's a phase a lot of girls go through, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I've actually got a list of scientifically proven ways to make you more attractive.
Oh, I'm
some
excited
for women,
to hear
some for
these.
Men. So let's see how many of these you've done or how many you agree with. If you're a girl, smiling more makes you more attractive.
You know what? I'm only making that face because it's one of those things that horrible men on the street tell you to do.
Oh.
Like, a smile, love. And I'm like, you know, I always say something. Sorry, I'm going slightly off topic here.
That's okay.
Whenever they say it to me on the street, I always say something really disgusting to them.
That's fair.
Like, oh, you know, I would love to smile, but I've just got this really bad yeast infection. And they're always like, okay. And then they walk away immediately.
Just to make them feel awkward.
But anyway, back to the point. I do agree that smiling makes people attractive. Depends on how the teeth look as well.
It's interesting. That's only for women.
Oh,
for men,
this is just for women.
They should look more serious.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
I don't agree with that. I think it's very attractive when men
I actually don't agree with it
smiling.
Either. On my personal experience, I went through a phase where I worked on myself a lot, and I just got to a really happy place in my life, and I was just smiling a lot.
Yeah.
And I found people
like drawn to you. Yeah.
So I would disagree with it, but according to science,
we like the science,
the science,
we like very serious men.
Yeah.
And you like very happy, smiley women.
Yeah, just someone that's just going to laugh at my bad jokes.
Yes. But I do agree with the smiling one for women, not from a man on the street point of view, but
the other one is something you do every day because you're a ginger, is wear red. Women are more attractive if they wear red, according to the science.
But if we're actually talking about the colour red and not the orange on my hair, then that's interesting because red is actually a colour I avoid because I think it clashes with my hair.
Yeah, you just camouflage.
Yeah, that's why I wear contrasting colours. Like I really like green and blue because they contrast really well with orange, and colours like red and pink. Although I really love red and I really love pink, I just look ridiculous in them because my hair just is bright orange. I'm like, stop doing this.
Yeah, and I've always assumed that red was a signal that, you know, the girl's looking for some fun.
What is this, the 50s?
I don't know. We read this in men's magazines and I don't know. It's bullshit.
It's like the whole sexy red dress thing, sexy red underwear. No, I definitely see what you mean. Red is definitely a sexy colour. It's all like, you know, on Valentine's Day, everything is
exactly
red or pink, and the rose petals are red. So no, yeah, you're onto something.
This one is about your voice. You can make yourself more attractive by speaking in a higher voice if you're a girl. In a lower voice if you're a guy.
Okay.
So if I talk like this,
gruffly. I'm so aroused right now.
Is it working?
I'm so aroused. I don't think that's true because I have heard a lot of men say that they like the huskier voices on women.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And for example, when I get ill, so when I have a cold and, you know, you get a husky voice, I absolutely love it.
I always want to do karaoke.
I wish I could just keep this sexy husky voice. So I don't think that's true. I feel like if I spoke in a high-pitched voice intentionally, people would be annoyed with me.
Yeah. I think it is annoying when you get those girls that kind of have the artificial...
Please, will you buy me a drink? But I'll try that the next time I go out.
I think it's true for men, though, because if a man with a really high-pitched voice, it's not attractive.
It's not.
Think Ben Shapiro or someone like that.
Oh, no, it's not attractive at all.
So it's half true. Science is half true.
Yeah.
There's always have a sense of humor.
Yeah, definitely. For both? Is that for both?
Yeah,
there?
both. Yeah,
absolutely. I feel like, I've gone on some, not necessarily Tinder, but dating app dates before with people that are really good looking, way back in the day. And, I'm one of those people that just jokes all the time, as you know. And I'll be, just bantering with them and they're just like straight face. And I'm like, so this is not going to work.
Yeah.
And they don't tell any jokes back or laugh. And I'm like, God, he died. What's wrong with you?
I have that a lot because people here don't get my English references.
Yeah, so. I can imagine. My heart aches for you on that one.
Yeah. The other one is get a dog. Apparently it makes you more attractive.
I will book an appointment with the Dogs Trust on my way out here.
These are so weird, aren't they?
I think, so I know that lots of people love dogs, so that makes sense. And it's almost like the nurturing thing.
I think it's like proof that you can take care of something.
Yeah.
That you're not selfish.
It's funny because I would never, ever have any pets. Ever, because I hate taking care of other things.
See, you don't need a surgeon, you just need to get a dog. So if it makes you more attractive, maybe you would. You want
this is a huge character defect of mine, obviously. I'm really selfish and I can admit that. And I don't want to neglect this animal. I don't think it would be fair for me to get an animal. I like them like the children, they're nice when they're other people's, but I wouldn't want to take one home and have to keep it alive.
Like being kind makes people more attractive. And I think being kind doesn't mean like saying you're a nice guy.
Oh, no.
And telling everybody how
nice you are. I'm a nice guy.
It just means doing nice things and not telling people you're doing the nice things. Just be a good person, I think.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that. But I also, and this is I don't think anyone else would probably say this, but I'm kind of attracted to people, both men and women, who are a little bit evil.
Evil.
People that are a bit manipulative and they know how to manipulate and they can sort of, they're a bit narcissistic and...
See, that's what I would think, because I think normally we want people that are difficult personalities that we can't have easily, I think.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hot when people have a bit of an edge.
Science is what science is doing.
I do think it's nice when those people, okay, they have an edge, but then to you, they're nice. Because I think a lot of people perceive me to be a massive bitch, but I'm actually, really, really kind to people that I care about and my friends and stuff. So I guess it's kind of like that.
Yeah, and maybe it's this be kind thing. Like I said, I think a lot of people think they're kind, but actually they're being something else, which is like very needy.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, just be kind, but still, have a backbone, stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get right, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think this is for me, I think this is the most important one, is grooming yourself.
Absolutely.
Like you can make yourself look so much better just by investing in your clothes and your hair, if you're a man as well. Just looking like an adult, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I could go out in, sometimes I do run errands in like trackies and a hoodie. And I know it's probably hard to imagine, and like trainers.
You need a separate Instagram just for this.
Trackies, hoodie and trainers, to go get some toilet roll. And it's really funny because people, with my hair in like a bun on the top of my head. And it's funny because people often just not look It's like being more invisible, you know. It's quite interesting.
So
it's
people treat you differently.
Yeah, it's almost refreshing. It's like being under the radar.
Yeah, did you do it like to be in disguise?
Yeah, that's my disguise. So like, who is that? Who's that champ on the street?
It's interesting though. Like, do you think people treat attractive people differently?
Yes, absolutely. And I can confirm that from my own experience.
Yeah.
Do you want me to elaborate?
Yeah, please.
So before I had any work done, people were either directly unkind to me or dismissive of me. So they were either mean or they just didn't give me the time of day. You know, they didn't even...
Just randomly mean?
Or they just didn't even look in my direction. They would just randomly insult me. It was one of the two. And this would even be included in the groups of people that I used to hang out with. So people that I considered my friends when I was younger would do this. And I think they thought it was funny, and maybe I thought it was funny. But yeah, I would sum it up as saying very dismissive or directly mean. Not looking twice at me on the street, that sort of thing. And as soon as I had my nose job, which was the first thing I had done, it was like a button was clicked, you know. That's not the right terminology. I suddenly can't speak English properly. But I remember the first time I went out after I had my cast off and my bruising went away with makeup on, the attention was immediate. Like, people actually wanted to talk to me.
Well, you've not had that before.
No. I've still not had it. People were suddenly more drawn to me. People wanted to talk to you because, you know, I know that there's so much rhetoric saying like, oh, looks aren't everything, but they are. Like, they really, really are. And I'm not just talking about men here. I'm talking about women as well. Like, more women want to be friends with me. More people want to talk to me. More people want to get to know me just because I look better. And I guess because I radiate more confidence now and more kind of positive energy, whereas before Did it
change your personality so quickly?
No, you know, it actually took a really long time for my personality to change with it. So I had my nose job 6 years ago when I was 20. God, time flies. And even though I looked immediately different and immediately more attractive, my mind was still stuck in that phase. So for example, and this is really sad, but with my old nose, whenever I would walk past a group of people, I would have a habit of doing this, like covering, or even if I would try to make it look discreet. So I would make it look like I was doing something with my hair when actually I was literally doing this, or pretend like I was sneezing or something.
Wow.
And I still had this habit for maybe 6 months to a year after, because it was so ingrained in my mind that, and the reason I did it is because, say I would be walking past a group of teenagers or other children, one of them might shout something at me, like something horrible, like...
How often would that happen though? Just...
Very often.
Really?
Yeah. Like, quite a lot. People are horrible. And I don't just mean at school either.
Yeah, that's you saying in public.
Yeah, so, you know, say
Is this like an English thing, I think?
I don't know.
People are a lot meaner in England, I think. Especially in cities.
Do you think so?
I feel that, yeah. Like, since I've lived abroad, I've never had a fight. But in my hometown, people just want to fight you in the street for no reason.
There's nothing to do in the UK like, but drink and punch people.
Yeah, I'm like, why haven't I had a fight in Hungary? So, because it's not normal.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know if maybe I would have had a different experience if I went to school in another country, but I don't think so. And like I said, it wasn't just at school, it was just in public places.
That's insane.
Like, you know how groups of teenagers loiter around the same age as me? Say I'd, be 15 or something, just walking somewhere. And if I didn't do the thing, covering my nose, I might get like a series of insults hurled at me. I'm trying to think, like, what did they actually say? But it was usually the same, like, oi, big nose, or something that I really didn't like was when they'd be really sarcastic. So like, hey, and then I'd turn around and they'd be like, I love your nose, which is really, really mean.
I'm trying to think of what insults people would shout at me. Like,
people call me Big Bird as well.
Big Bird.
People, this is really anti-Semitic as well, but people would call me Jewish as an insult, which is obviously a horrible thing to say.
Yeah, the whole thing is horrible, and it's bringing back memories of...
I'm traumatized and I start crying.
I just remember, like, when I had horrible acne and braces and things, and people would like shout like Terminator teeth or things like that.
That's horrible.
Or it was like pizza face.
Yeah, pizza face was one I heard a lot in school. Not towards me, because luckily acne was one thing.
You avoided that one.
I mean, I had a bit around my chin, but it wasn't like really, really bad.
Yeah. But the thing I hated most was when they said one that was genuinely funny. And it was like, those ones were meaner because...
they kind of cut deep.
And like, it's like you also like think, that was actually quite funny, but so mean.
You're thinking like, wow, did you spend all night thinking about that, and then you make a little notebook.
One for the diary.
Yeah, but no, it's I don't know. People are just so cruel, and I feel like it makes you meaner as a result. So I found that I wasn't a very nice person, and I can imagine people who know me watching this thinking, well, you sort of fucking bitch now. But I was really, because I was so insecure. I hated myself so much, and I kind of projected it outward. So I sort of hated everyone around me. I didn't like to compliment people. I didn't like to compliment other women. I never complimented other women at all. Like, I just didn't have it in myself to do that, Well,
I understand it. I think, when you're surrounded by lots of positivity, it makes you more positive.
Exactly, of course.
On every level, I always try to cut negative people out of my life now, because I find they drag me down like very, very easily.
Yeah.
And I can... I absolutely relate to it. I think so many people will, because the truth is that the majority are actually these unattractive people.
Yeah,
it's just we're all insulting each other to try and feel a bit better about ourselves, I think.
Yeah, I know.
Because that's the worst thing, when you get like an insult from someone that just looks like shit themselves.
Yeah.
It's not the hot people that are hurling the insults around.
I found that as well in school, know. Obviously, a lot of the insults came from people that were, I was like a proper bottom feeder in school. I was like super goth and ginger with a massive nose. I was like with no tits. I really drew the short straw. And mostly the insults would come from people that were super popular and what I deemed to be attractive. But every now and then I get an insult from someone who was just really ugly themselves, and I was like, this doesn't seem fair.
Well, it's really interesting. We were checking the science again, and it said that most unattractive people don't actually know that they're unattractive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so by most people that are unattractive, they believe they're more attractive than they are.
So they're like delusional.
It doesn't mean they necessarily think they're attractive, but they definitely think they're more attractive than their level. And then most attractive people...
is it like the other way around?
They're more accurate with their assessment.
Oh, sure. Okay. That's really interesting.
Yeah. But again, our lived experience seems so different to what the bloody science says.
I know, the science.
The science. I think they must be just finding the most random people. Like
just anyone on the street, and then they write it down. They're like, yes, this is gospel now.
So what advantages do you think there are to being attractive?
Whew, where do I start? First of all, I think the obvious one is being way more confident, and that's just like a massive umbrella term for so many other things that open so many doors for you. So you can be way more confident, which means you are more willing to speak to people, speak to strangers.
Creates more opportunities.
Exactly. More opportunities, more likely to get jobs, more likely to be... just have people like you, have people receptive to you, warm to you, things like that, you know, which just, like you said, is an opportunity thing, I think.
The impact is huge.
Yeah.
There's some studies on it, again.
You get shit for free.
Yeah.
I never got that before.
The day-to-day experience is so different. I remember, like, my business partner, she was very beautiful. So I'd be going to, like, the same cafe for a long time. I'd take her with, and they would never, like, recognize me, remember my name, have a conversation. I go in with her and it's like, hi, how's it going?
Yeah,
good to see you.
It really is. Like, pretty privilege is a very real thing. They're like, have this on the house.
I like that.
Have this on the house, you know, things like that. Or
well, you can put a number on it as well. So in the US, if you're attractive, if you're an attractive man, you will earn over $230,000 more in your life than an unattractive man.
Wow. That's really interesting, but not surprising.
Yeah, and that's just for men. Like
that. Does it have a figure for women?
No.
Probably because
I mean, maybe there is one, but
probably because it's so
we had like an hour to research it.
Yeah, but no, really, I found that obviously before I did this job, I had vanilla jobs and would be going to job interviews, and even at job interviews, I found that they were easier after I had just one nose job.
Even if you're not interested in someone sexually, you do get drawn to attractive people.
Yeah, no, it's just the way the world is, and you can say that it's horrible and sad and shallow, but I get it. Ultimately, we are put here to mate with each other, and that's just the end of it. Like, you're drawn to people that look good.
And it goes further than just advantages. So attractive people are less likely to be involved in crime, and attractive criminals get lesser punishments than unattractive criminals.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Are you serious?
Absolutely serious.
Okay, I'm going to go leave and rob a bank. I'll be back in about an hour once I've got my light slap on the wrist.
I'll wait for you to finish that before I probably be like, oh no, I got 2 years, I must be ugly.
Could you imagine the judge sentences me to like life imprisonment? I'm like, is it...
Excuse me?
I'm like, can we get a different judge in here that likes redheads? What the hell's going on?
It's crazy though, isn't it?
That's insane. That's shocking to hear.
And even, so children and adults, both of them judge attractive people to be more helpful, more intelligent, and more friendly.
Yeah, it's really like something in your mind associates attractiveness with all of these other really nice redeeming qualities, like you mentioned, when these people, there's no proof that these people have any of these redeeming qualities. Like, I find it really funny. I always make this ongoing joke that, you know, men come up to me on the street and they're like, wow, you're so attractive. Can I have your number? Or they just smile at me, you know, so they just smile at me. And I'm thinking, they're doing that because I'm attractive, but I'm actually like the devil reincarnated. I'm actually a terrible person.
You always say that, but it's not true.
I know. It's like an ongoing joke that I have. But this is what I mean. You know, I could be I could have just finished murdering 5 people, and people see what they perceive to be a nice face, a nice figure, and they're just so receptive to it, and they just want to smile at you. Even not just men, women as well want to smile at me. Children smile at me now. They didn't before. Babies smile at me now.
Yeah, they cry when I see them.
Yeah, they cried before at me as well. I was like, right, okay.
Oh, it's so funny. And did you find that, like, because you did sex work before or after you became attractive?
I actually did some camming before I had any work done.
Okay. How was that?
It was okay.
Because people are usually quite kind on webcam. Even, I haven't known.
Are they?
Yeah, no?
I mean, it was okay. I think with webcam, I couldn't have done porn, for example, because that showcases you at every angle in 4K. Whereas on cam, you know, I can choose the angle, so I might not fully turn my head to the side, and do my hair in a certain way. So, you know, it was okay. It wasn't so bad. Like I did okay.
You didn't get the random insults?
No, nothing. Because the way I position myself, I would never be like fully showing my side profile, you know? Or if I did, I would do the old hand trick. So, yeah, it went okay for me.
That's good. And why did you get started? Why did you decide to go into it?
God, that's a long time ago. Why did I? That's a really good question. I would say it's because I grew up really poor. And, you know, I heard about camming, and I followed a few cam girls on Twitter, and I thought, you know, this is really interesting. Maybe I should give it a go. You know, I don't, you know, my dad doesn't have much money. I don't have any money. Maybe I'll just try it. And then I guess I never looked back. From rags to riches.
Did you find it helped with feeling more attractive?
I think it helped, but it also didn't help at the same time. So, of course, it was nice to get compliments from people. I say people, they're men, not that men aren't people. But, you know, horny men fall into this category that's unlike other people, you know? Like, they will fuck, no offense, Tommy, but they will fuck anything. Usually,
I don't.
As a blanket statement. But then also I would sometimes see myself on cam angles and think, oh, you know, I really don't like that. I really should. And wait, hang on. Sorry, you asked me the reason I was doing it in the first place. It was to save up for a nose job. How did I not remember that? I was like, why did I? My family poor?
Yeah, I think often it's either money or like the attention.
Yeah, it was nice, the attention, I'm not going to lie. And, you know, with my free cams, for example, when you're new, they put you on the front page. So I had so many people in my room, and I was like, wow, all this fame and money. And it was probably like $300. But as an 18, 19-year-old, you're like, wow, I'm rich.
Yeah, like I never used to have my photo taken, ever. So until 2 years ago, there were almost no photos of me. And I don't know, I just made it like a lockdown thing okay, I'm going to take some photos for Instagram.
Yeah, I did notice that there was a period where you suddenly had loads of photos of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here?
I was just trying to feel more, because I'm confident in myself, but I was never confident like in how I look.
Yeah, okay,
but I accepted that people like me, but I just was like, well, I don't really see it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just made it. And I always tell people now, if you're not like a confident person, just start taking photos for Instagram, because it's, I don't know, you slowly realize that you know, how you look in a photo isn't how you look in real life. And you're learning a photography skill, or you're learning a posing skill.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel so good to get those compliments.
Yeah, definitely.
And it lifted my ego, even just like from friends. It was just like a friendly, like for my friends' Instagram.
Yeah.
And the likes and the compliments really just lifted
really
everything so
boosts much. You. I remember when I first got, it sounds so silly, but when I first uploaded a profile picture on Facebook that got over like 20 likes for the first time in my life, I was like, oh my God. And this was before I had any work done. It was just a nice photo, you know, but it sounds silly because it's just people scrolling and not really thinking about what they're doing, but it does boost your confidence.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so do you feel like all the pictures, taking all the photos, having all these images of yourself on your Instagram has done a lot for your self-esteem or confidence?
I'd say it's been huge. And I'd also say I didn't realize I needed it.
Okay.
I did it just maybe partly out of boredom, or maybe like deep down I maybe knew that it was not normal to run every time someone pulled a camera out.
Yeah.
So, and at the time I was going to the gym and I was trying to feel more confident with my body. And it definitely helped so much. Just
good.
It's hard to explain like the effect it had.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that.
And it's not like people, but the reason I ask is because I imagine if you're doing webcam and it's like they're not just complimenting you, they're complimenting you with money.
Yeah.
And do you think that can go too far? Like you can like kind of become full of yourself, or?
Oh, I'm definitely full of myself, but it's not because of webcam. But probably, yeah, I think I didn't cam for very long and I didn't do that much of it, and I wouldn't do it again because it's not my thing.
It's quite intense.
But I guess maybe, you know, if I'm trying to imagine if that was my only form of sex work, how my confidence would be now. I mean, I'm sure it can probably go too far and you can get really big-headed. But I guess it depends what kind of person you are as well.
Does the ego boost vary by which type of sex work you do?
I think so. I think the biggest ego boost for me with the type of sex work has been escorting. Because you're actually one-on-one with someone. You know, they are paying a considerable sum of money just to, and it's not even, it's like 1% is about the sex, you know, they just want to be in your presence. Like this person is paying essentially to hang out with you and talk to you and be entertained by you like a courtesan, you know, and it's a massive boost. It's like, you know, I often think back to the days when I would be crying in my room. You know, I was like 19 or so, or maybe even 20, just before I had my nose done, like crying because I wanted to go out, but I just couldn't face going outside because of the fear of being insulted, or I was just so self-conscious. And it's so strange that I am the same person. I mean, you know, obviously I've changed a lot, but it's still me, you know. And, you know, you fast forward 6 years and now people are forking out this money and coming back and coming back and coming back just to, you know, talk to me. And you know, the reviews that they write, like, oh my God, she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. She's so amazing, so charismatic. And I'm like, I would never have envisioned, you know, as a 15-year-old, someone to ever say that about me. So I definitely think escorting has been a huge confidence booster, especially with like my social skills as well. Yeah,
because you get to interact with people that you wouldn't normally talk to.
Yeah, you have to sort of switch into like work mode. So as soon as they open the hotel door, for example, you know, you're very smiley. You're like, hi, darling, how are you doing?
See, your voice went higher, like the science said.
Oh, fuck, the science is right. I literally do that. So, hi, darling, how are you doing? And you kiss them on the cheek. What have you been up to today? And you kind of lead the conversation and you just switch into work mode and you just talk. And it's really done wonders for my social skills, to be honest. Not like I was socially inept before, but I was a little bit more awkward than I am now, for sure.
Yeah, with me, I've always, for the last 10 and 12 years, I've mostly worked from home or in small groups of people.
Yeah.
And now I started this podcast, I'm having to actually talk to people instead of texting them, you know. Yeah, I think there's definitely something to be said for real meetings in person.
Yeah.
And maybe developing social skills is part of becoming more attractive too.
Absolutely. Like I can now, for example, last summer I went to a birthday gathering of people that were all friends with my boyfriend at the time. I didn't know any of them. My boyfriend then cancelled last minute. And I went on my own to this massive group of people. I didn't know any of them, really. And I just went. And I didn't even think twice about it. I didn't pre-drink. I didn't take a load of drugs before I went. I just went.
This is what I used to do. You would sit at home crying, but my way of dealing with it was just to get smashed.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely
I did that
wasted.
as well.
I did both.
Yeah, I did
tears,
both.
Get drunk, then more tears.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, but yeah, it's something that I never ever would have done a few years back. Even just waltzing into a group of people that don't know me, I don't know them, and just talking.
And I bet it feels like quite an achievement because you know where you've come from, and no one would appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking in my head, maybe this is a really narcissistic thing. I'm thinking, wow, they must think I'm so confident just showing up
only
here
you notice
on my own like this, just, you know, mingling, and I don't know anyone, and here I am.
Yeah, I had a similar thing to that with traveling alone. I found that really boosted my confidence with social skills. Just because you can either spend weeks alone or you can talk to people.
Yeah.
And I think putting yourself out of your comfort zone, if you're low on confidence, if you're not feeling good about yourself, I think if you do it, you get like so handsomely rewarded when you do it.
Yeah, definitely. It's really hard though.
It's so hard.
Obviously, it's like excruciatingly hard. Like say if I tried to do what I did last summer, going into this group of people and there were like 20, 30 of them, so it was a lot of them. Say I tried to do that a few years ago, I probably would have had some kind of, I would have gone, but I would have had some kind of anxiety attack, a nervous breakdown along the way, maybe have shed a few tears, you know? So yeah, it definitely changes things.
Yeah, it just fascinates me. And I just know there's so many people like us that, and like we're really lucky that we both managed to kind of find our way.
Yeah.
And I think especially for people who are maybe younger listeners, I think there's maybe a lot that maybe think it doesn't get better. And
yeah, I never thought it would get better.
Yeah, I think maybe it's slightly easier for young girls. But for young men...
Do you think?
Yeah, because I think girls talk about their feelings more.
Oh, that's true.
And with young men, they don't really have any outlet. I was reading that... I can't remember what percentage it is, but there was a study that said that like a lot of like Generation Z men don't even have one close friend.
What?
Yeah.
That's really sad.
It's really sad. And I think, you know, and it's no wonder like there's so much like male suicide and all these things. And I think if they knew it can get better, and if they knew that you can make yourself more attractive and become more confident, maybe it would, you know, help some of them.
Yeah, I think, like you said, like a lot of people, me included, you included, saw like no end in sight. I kind of just thought I don't really know what I thought. I just never thought I would be an attractive person or a confident person or someone that people want to speak to, let alone someone that people want to pay money just to... I have clients that don't even have sex with me. They just want to hang out with me, you know? They just want to look at me and hang out with me. And it's like, wow,
And I think for men, there's like, there's an extra difficulty in that our like kind of peak attraction is mid-30s. And you kind of, if you're not attractive, you do kind of just have to wait. Ultimately, if you're a man, more girls are going to want to sleep with you as you get older.
Yeah.
Just girls generally, they won't see someone that's, you know, younger than them, usually. Usually they won't see someone that's shorter than them.
Yeah.
And usually they won't see someone that's making less money than them.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's the way the world is.
It's funny you should say
and
that.
Once you get to like 35, there's a huge... There's so many girls that want to date you.
Yeah.
It changes. So you just got to wait, I think.
Yeah. I guess that must
work
be
on
difficult.
yourself and wait. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have a longer time period to wait for the blossoming to happen.
Yeah.
Whereas women, it tends to be faster, you know. Although,
not always, but yeah.
Saying that, lots of the girls who I went to school with who were very mean to me, or not necessarily mean to me, but who I perceived to be very, very pretty, very attractive, they all look like shit now.
Everybody that looked good at school looks like shit now.
They peaked in school, and now they're the ones commenting on my pictures like, oh my God, you're so amazing looking, or, you know, responding to my stories, whatever. And I'm just like, what happened, man? Why didn't you work on yourself?
I find that many of the most attractive people were the opposite at school, because they have the motivation, because beauty is really difficult. I'm just learning how to dress, how to match colors.
I think they just got lazy.
Being brave, yeah.
Like, they just had it so easy that they never...
got no motivation.
Yeah, whereas, you know, constantly being bullied and to the point of like tears and me not wanting to go into school, for example, like faking being ill, that is a huge motivation. And I've even had people apologize to me.
Oh, wow.
And I think it's quite sad, because I don't think they would have done that if I didn't have any work done.
Once you got hot, did you do that thing where you go back to like someone you had a crush on at school and kind of...
So yes.
Sounds like a story.
There are quite a few stories, actually. So there were a few people who I had crushes on and was a bit, you know, I used to get really obsessed with guys all the time when I was like 19. That's a bit weird. Anyway, and I'd get really into them, have a crush on them, and they would usually sleep with me because, like I said, men will tend to, you know, fuck most things. And then they would want nothing to do with me after. And then I get surgery done, and then they're messaging me like, oh, hey, you know, I'm really sorry that I didn't give you the time of day before.
Wow.
You know, it was just because, and then they make up some kind of story like, oh, it wasn't you, it was me. I'm like, no, but it was me, wasn't it? It's because I was ugly, just say it. You know, I actually would respect someone more if they said to me straight up, I didn't think you were attractive before, and I do now, rather than playing this game with me.
You can't say that to a guy. Sorry, I don't find you attractive when I'm sober. It's just
yeah. But yeah, I've had quite a few stories like that. People that I had crushes on. It's happened more than once, and even people that...
Did you get revenge on them?
No, I'm not I don't really give them the time of day, to be honest with you. Part of me thought I'll be really funny to like lead this person on, but I'm like, you know what? I don't even have time for these people. I would even get messages from guys that used to bully the shit out of me. Like, hey, babe, you've changed.
You've changed.
And I would respond like, do you think I have amnesia or something? You used to make my life hell.
It's amazing, though, that they can overcome.
Did you think I forgot? Like, genuinely, do you think I'm going to respond like, oh, hey, yeah, sure, No. It's so strange. But no, I don't. I just block them.
It just shows you the power of attraction, that even people that...
They're so delusional.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, she's hot now, so I guess this will work. And all the torment that I put her through, she's obviously forgotten about that and is not traumatized by it at all.
Yeah, and it's just like a guy thing. Like, part of me is thinking... oh, yeah, I wish girls just slept with me because I was there when I was a teenager. That would have been better than no sex.
Yeah, it's different because I did sleep with a lot of people before I had any surgery, more in an insecurity way. So I would go out to the pub, get really drunk, and anyone that gave me attention,
like to feel wanted,
to feel good, and it was like an ego boost for me. Like any guy, didn't matter what he looked like, just shag him in the pub toilets. I've shagged a lot of people before my surgery that I'm not proud of, and every now and then I get this little memory flash and I'm like, oh my god, why did like some ugly man in the back of a van or something just to feel wanted.
I think it's really common because so few people have that amazing confidence in themselves. I think everybody goes through that phase where for me it was in my late 20s when girls started to like me a bit. I don't know why. They just suddenly did. And I felt like the whole world had been having sex with everybody for like 10 years or so while I was like on the edge looking in. Yeah. So I just tried to sleep with as many people as I could. It was so empty and so useless.
Yeah.
But it did give me an ego boost. And then
it does.
It gets tiring.
But it's like an empty ego boost. You know, it's like empty carbs, you know.
With mine, I felt less of a man because I hadn't had many partners. So it was like a masculinity thing.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't know what number I had in my head that was normal.
How many people did you sleep with in this era?
Not too many, but I'd gone from like, say, 3 in 10 years to then suddenly going to more like, 1 a month or 2 a month or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I still had to put a lot of effort. I wasn't like as popular as I'm more popular now than I was then.
I thought you were going to say some ridiculous figure. I was like, God, what is he about to say to me?
No, it keeps increasing somehow. So it's
that's always a good sign.
Yeah, it's not deliberate though now.
It's not deliberate. No. They just fall onto your cock now.
No, now it's more like, they it's hard dating someone when you're working in porn, so they'll date me and then it won't progress.
Yeah, it's always like I can imagine in the beginning they're like, yeah, I'm cool with this.
Yeah, and then they start describing my colleagues as bitches. It's like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Are you sure you're cool with this?
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone in the beginning wants to be cool with everything, and then sort of the cracks start to show very quickly. Yeah,
very, very quickly. And so let's give some help to your male fans.
Okay.
What is an attractive guy for you?
I feel like any advice I give is going to be so distorted and shouldn't be followed by anyone, because I think
the best kind of advice.
I think the things that my opinions and the things I say are not held by the majority of the female population. So if you're asking me what an attractive trait in men is, I would say confidence, almost bordering arrogance. So I like men who really know that they're good looking. Not in an arsehole-ish way, but they just know, you know, they're like, I know that I'm good looking. I like men who are sexually confident, who know that they're good in bed, men who are funny. And I think those things can turn an average looking man into a very attractive man.
And how would you say they get there? If they're, you know, maybe sat at home playing video games and shy.
God, that's a difficult one. And I'm not sure I have an answer. I'm really sorry. I don't know. I guess, like you said, for men, it tends to come later on in life. So it could be a matter of waiting. It could be a matter of slowly going out and socializing with people.
I don't think it happened fast for you. Like, it was a gradual thing, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was gradual. But it, you know, happened over such a long period of time that I can't really pinpoint anything in particular that happened. It just, you know, I look back 2 years and I'm so different, and then back another 2 years and I'm so different. So it just kind of happens, you know. I honestly don't have a good answer to that. I'm sorry to the men watching.
From my point of view, I felt that it was a combination of things. The first one being just reading a lot, because I was too shy to do anything. So I would like read a lot of self-help books. And after a while, you realize they're all bullshit.
Yeah,
and they're all kind of the same. But yeah, I think the message, like the positive message, was really helpful. I think it does help a lot of people. And it sounds so cheesy to read those crappy books, but they're definitely worth an investment.
Yeah.
And then just being brave.
I think, like you said earlier, stepping out of your comfort zone is a really huge thing, as hard as it can be. And, you know, sometimes we're not ready to do that. And I think that's fine. You know, like for example, when I was younger in school, if I had to get up to do a presentation, I would literally die. You know, I would go bright red, I would stutter, I would be like a blubbering mess. And now I could stand up and speak in a room in front of a load of people, and it's fine. It's just, you know, back then I was not ready for it. And sometimes you have to give yourself some time to find yourself and be comfortable with yourself. And attractiveness obviously has a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah. I think, maybe it's best just to focus on the basics first and just, you know, buy GQ or some men's magazine and just copy the clothes that the models are wearing. Like, it doesn't have to be expensive clothes. You don't have to buy all the expensive grooming products, but just start by looking good. And I think the clothes and the style are like a kind of armor, you know?
Yeah, and
like
being
a shield.
Funny. I think humor for me in a man is, you know, I said confidence and sex, and they're obviously very important, but humor for me is probably the most important thing.
And you need to be very confident to make a joke, because you can...
That's true. And some people just aren't funny. You know, some people just don't have a good sense of humor.
Or maybe they're just not practiced enough in social situations. Like, they're not good at reading people. I think you're being too
nice.
I know, I'm trying.
I know. Yeah. I know what you're saying. I mean, I guess it depends. Some people might find me to be completely not
everybody's
funny.
Like an alpha male type person.
Yeah.
But if you're in the right group, everybody can contribute and be funny. Just maybe there's a leader.
Yeah, like you can bounce off of each other, for example.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just through knowing each other and having these in-jokes. And then you steal the best jokes and you use them on the next girl you meet.
Yes. Aha. That's the trick.
Okay. Did we do everything? I think we did.
No.
What did we miss?
I don't know. There was loads in the WhatsApp message that you haven't asked me, I'm sure.
Did people tell you? Yes, they did. I'm so shocked at that, really.
Really? You're shocked that people told me I was unattractive?
That it was so common.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what shocks me.
Yeah. It was it's really sad, you know, like I said, back to the times when I would be crying in bed. And
you know what, I bet you had this as well, is I always used to wish I was shorter because I was always taller than everybody and I had just this mess of a face. And I felt
really
like
stand out. Yeah, there's like no way to blend yourself. No. And I had that. I always wish that I was shorter. I wish that I had normal coloured hair, like just brunette or something to blend in and stuff like that. You know, I felt like I really stuck out like a sore thumb, which now benefits me greatly, but back then not so much.
And I think that's also an important point, is that because we were focused so much on, say, the nose or the acne, that we forget about all our good qualities.
Yeah, no, and, absolutely.
Like, imagine how many people are looking at you thinking, damn, that bitch is tall. I want to be taller.
Yeah, you know? I always get short women saying to me, like, oh my God, I'm so jealous of how tall you are. And women in general, I'm so jealous of your hair. Your hair is amazing. It's so long, it's so thick, the color is amazing. And it's things like that, you know, that when you're younger, you just wanted anything but.
Yeah, it's so easy to just only focus on the negatives.
Of course. But I feel like when you're younger, these things are not positive, you know, like being a tall woman, being a tall girl was weird, like having ginger hair, anything that kind of made you different was not something that you wanted.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, I grew to like 6 foot when I was 12, and then I didn't really grow after that.
I basically got to the height I am at 12 as well, maybe even 10 or something. Like I grew really, really fast, and I was always the tallest out of my classmates. Yeah. You know those class pictures that you used to take, and they would put all the tall people at the back. I was always at the very back.
Well, the worst thing that happened to me was I had a paper round delivering newspapers.
Yes.
And I don't know if I guess people don't do that anymore. But I was doing that, and sometimes people would come up to me and they'd say, I think it's disgusting what you're doing, taking jobs from children.
Wait, what?
And I was like, I'm 13.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Did you really look like an adult? Or
I guess I looked like, 17 or something.
It's disgusting what you're doing.
Yeah.
You poor thing. That's awful. Also, if you were taking jobs from children, whose business is it?
Yeah.
God, that's so strange.
You don't want a boy to do a man's job, right?
Yeah. I also wanted to talk a bit more about the whole, this is kind of like my own thing now, but the perfectionism side of things. You know, I said earlier that we were talking about how some people just get a little boob job or a small nose job or maybe a tiny bit of lip filler, and they don't tell anyone, and it's all very hush-hush and everything, whereas I'm on the other end of the spectrum. And like I said, I woke up one day and I just decided, I'm like, I'm going to be hot and I'm not going to stop. And I still think this to this day, when there's not really much more I can do. And I'm not saying that in a vain way. I'm saying that if I got much more done, I'd look silly. So for example, after I got my nose job when I was 20, I remember thinking to myself, I'm not going to get anything else done. That's going to be it. And then I had a consultation for a boob job with the same company that did my nose. And I thought, I won't actually do it. I'm just going to see what they say. And I just did it. I literally didn't even. This was probably one of my biggest regrets to date, because I've had 2 boob jobs. My first one went very badly. I didn't research anything about boob jobs. I didn't realize they were so complicated, and you should really get a specialist because lots of them look very, very bad. And so anyway, I had my first boob job done. And then I start looking more at my face. I think, okay, well, my nose is fixed. What now? Oh, my chin is a bit tucked in. My chin is a bit small. I could do with some filler. Or my lips are a bit thin. They could do with some filler. Or my under eyes are a bit empty. I'm going to get some filler in them. Oh, my cheekbones are quite small. I'm going to get some filler. And you kind of... It's been a little bit unhealthy for me, where I've had some too much filler at one point. I've had some taken out and then put back in different areas. Yeah. Because I was always looking in the mirror and taking selfies for the purpose of examining them and seeing, okay, what needs to be done here? When I was already at that point where I guess I could say I was typically attractive, but I was still looking for something to fix.
Yeah, I've always wondered this, because I've seen some people, even in our industry, let's say they get a nose job, but then they get a nose job almost every year or every 2 or 3 years. And I wonder if, like how, say anorexic people, when they look in the mirror, they see themselves as fat. Or a lot of bodybuilders, they look in the mirror, they see themselves as skinny.
Yeah.
Is it body Dysmorphia?
I think it is.
And I wonder, when you look in the mirror, do you really see what we see?
Yeah, I think it's body dysmorphia definitely has a big role to play. I think I'm only just in the last 2 years getting over this. And it's mainly because I've had everything I want done. So it's not like I've come to terms. It's because I've actually had everything done. I've had a nose job, 2 boob jobs, filler under my eyes, my cheeks, my chin, my lips. I had vasal liposuction last year, which is like normal liposuction, but they do it when you're awake. And
it sounded horrific.
It's for people that are already slim that just want toning. So it's not like, they're still sucking the fat out of you, but you are awake. It's very with a Henry Hoover, they come in and they start.
It just freaks me out.
Honestly, you know what? It wasn't actually that bad, but anyway, like I said, I finally had all these things done. So now it's just a matter of, keeping on top of my filler and stuff like that. Because, once a year you have to, get a bit more. But now I finally feel happy. I look in the mirror.
That's really good.
And I look in the mirror every morning and I'm really happy with the way that I look. It's funny because when I go back to the UK, I do have my yearly appointment for my under eye and cheek filler, but that's just a yearly thing,
How do you feel about photographs? Because I used to feel I would be really confident looking in the mirror, and then I'd look at my photograph and I'd just die. I
had that problem for a very long time. Nowadays, I absolutely love when someone pulls the camera out.
That's how it should be.
I'm immediately
Yeah.
I go into that mode immediately.
And I really think everybody can, because it's just about looking good or cool. You don't have to be attractive for a good photograph. You can actually be ugly and look really cool in a photo.
Yeah, no, of course.
And I just think people should, because people always say social media is this kind of evil thing and giving us false expectations, but I just don't think it is. I think the majority of people you follow are not models, and the majority of people I follow are my friends.
Yeah, they're just normal people.
Yeah, and I think that's often missed. And yeah, just practicing your photography skills, it just lifts you up so much, at least for me.
Yeah, before I had any work done, I would only feel happy when I had a full face of makeup on, like I said, the short skirts and stuff. And obviously now, because I've had quite a bit of work done, I feel totally happy without makeup on. I go to the club without makeup on and still get loads of attention. And I'm sure you've seen them. I often do Instagram stories. I'm like laying in bed with my hair in a messy bun. And I think... I
like that you're authentic.
Yeah, I really like doing that because I think, and I don't want to put anyone in this industry down, but a lot of them only want to appear as polished. And I like being authentic, and like this is... I like going on my story like, oh my God, I'm so hungover, I look like shit, and a lot of my clients in real life actually say that that's why they booked me, because I'm so human and real and flawed, I guess.
I say this to porn stars all the time, is that if they really want to boost their popularity on social media, they have to be vulnerable. And it's so difficult to do.
Yeah, because people do weaponize it against you.
They will, yeah.
So this is off topic. I know that we weren't going to talk about STDs today.
STDs are always welcome.
But just as an example of people weaponizing things against you. So I had my first herpes outbreak in November. So not that long ago, just a few months ago. It was my first ever one. It was awful. It was so painful. I was vomiting. I had like the flu-ish symptoms. I was sweating. I was cold. Felt like I was literally going to die of medieval disease.
I didn't know it was that bad.
It was like, so bad. Wow. I was crying every time I went for a wee. It hurt so much. Anyway, it cleared up, as it does. And it's not a big deal, as you know, as we all know in the industry, but no one else seems to know. Yeah. And then I thought to myself, should I speak about this on social media? Because one part of me was worried I was going to lose clients. And the other part of me thought, well, I don't want those clients anyway. I don't want stupid people to book me.
Yeah.
And so I decided to speak about it. I spoke about my first outbreak. I was very transparent about it. I said how bad it was, but then I said that ultimately everyone has it, and there's no real negative long-term health effects. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I said all of this. And of course, now people do use it against me.
Yeah, I think herpes is this weird one. So many people don't realize that everybody's got it, pretty much.
Yeah, it's... and
they think it's really disgusting somehow.
I did until a few years ago, because you're not educated on it properly, and it's really sad.
And people don't realize that condoms don't really help with herpes. It's just a skin.
It's not even skin on skin thing, It's a shame. It really is. Because I remember, like, in school, the sex education, now we're getting off topic completely. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But they would, to scare you, like, show you pictures of the worst cases of herpes possible. And everyone was like, oh my God, that's disgusting.
Yeah, they don't say that, like, hardly anyone actually gets symptoms long term. But, we're going to scare you.
Like, when I had my outbreak, that even though I was in so much pain, the sores on my labia and labial folds and everything, they were so minuscule, It was only the ones on my butt cheek that were visible. So it didn't look anything at all like those nasty. I was starting to think, where the hell do they get these images, and are they real?
I think they are real, but they...
Is it like every STD ever just left to fester for 50 years?
I think so. I think they only really take photos of the extreme cases.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really sad. But yeah, people use that against me quite a lot. I've actually had a few people message my partner, like... Your girlfriend, your girlfriend has herpes. And he's like, wow, I never knew that. It's like, obviously, I told him immediately. And he's like, yeah, I don't care.
Isn't that amazing that they can't find anything to put you down with now? So they have to just focus on something.
They're scrolling and they're like, shit, what can I use?
Did you know, Lenina, 90% of people in the world have herpes?
Literally. But this is what I mean about being vulnerable. It can be used not only against you, but against people that you love. And
it's
that
difficult.
can be quite hurtful, you know, or I don't know if I'm ever talking about, you know me, I'm very open on Twitter. I'm not, you know, mechanical at all.
Yeah, I just wish people, because I know you not well, but I know you a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I wish people on Instagram and Twitter, I wish they knew when you were joking or when you were trolling them.
I have a big problem with that. So,
because you're very funny and they just don't realize.
Yeah, because I have this ongoing gag where, okay, so I am a bit of a narcissist and I am in love with myself, but I also realize how funny and ridiculous it is. So I will often make jokes like, I'm just the most perfect person in the world.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm joking and I know that I sound ridiculous and it's all like a big funny joke, but it goes over people's heads a lot of the time.
Yeah, and it's like...
And they're like, oh, wow, she's so up herself. And I'm like, I am, but that's the joke, and I know that I'm ridiculous.
You're very self-aware. I don't think your ego is too big.
Yeah,
I just think
I'm extremely self-aware, and I think people don't realize that.
But they should do, because like you're not like many models. Some of the ones that are up their own arse, you can see because they could not take a photo that doesn't have like a Gucci bag in it. Or, you know, and they're showing this epically perfect life only in the most luxurious places.
Yeah, that's when you know it's like...
They don't live like that. Some maybe live like that, but they still have their like off-duty time.
Yeah.
And you show everything.
Like I put that photo on my Instagram story the other day of me shoving a sushi roll into my mouth, and it was so like unattractive. And I never would have done that a few years ago, but
it's just being real. It's good.
I just thought it was funny. Like it's like, hey, I can be unattractive or not really, but you know, I can have bad angles like we all do, you know.
It's just so frustrating to me how people don't get your humor.
It's frustrating to me as well, as you can
It's
imagine.
also funny though when they don't.
Yeah, like I'll make a joke and people will message me like, are you being serious? And I'm like, no. It's a joke.
So I'm thinking to wrap up, we should show each other our old photos.
Yes.
And also you could do a surgery consultation with me. So you can tell me, maybe we'll start with that. You can tell me what surgery I should have to be perfect.
I can't do
like
that.
You, so we can both be perfect.
Tommy, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that.
Do we not have enough time or what?
Look, I'm going to need... No, the thing is, I'm going to just add this as a little footnote here, but another thing to add on to the whole perfectionist thing, and this is something that's I'm really not proud to say, but I find myself projecting onto other people, not actually vocally, but, you know, say I am in public and I see someone on the train or on the bus or just walking in Sainsbury's, and I look at them and I'm like, if you just got a little bit here and a little bit here and you could look perfect, why don't you do that? And that's kind of mean, you know? But then is it mean? Because why wouldn't they just do that? But then I realise not everyone prioritises
But when I see people with acne, I just want to help them.
Yeah.
But I also know how hurt I was with people trying to help me.
Yeah. It's a difficult thing.
Yeah.
But then I also sometimes do it with my friends as well, mentally. And, you know, I'm always like, stop. It's not so much these days. It was more like a few years back.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, why don't you just a bit of this? You know?
And when something has such amazing results for you personally.
Yeah, that's what I'm not trying to be mean, but I realise that obviously you can't just tell people like, hey, I booked you an appointment, I paid for it, so go.
Like one of my friends, her life has been so transformed by escorting. She's absolutely in love with it. Yeah. And she cannot understand why all her friends don't do it. And she's always saying, why do you come escorting with me? And they're like, stop it, stop.
Yeah. It's difficult to understand that what works for you isn't a universal experience.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that about escorting as well. But then if everyone did it, I wouldn't make all the money that I do. So
if everybody did it, then it would just be free sex, right?
Yeah,
because the price would come down to nothing.
I'd rather they just stay away, actually.
Okay.
Shall I get
your
phone?
pictures out then, yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to use your phone to show you mine as well.
Okay, that's fine. Right. Let's go into
We'll throw them on the podcast. You'll have to describe it for the people that are not watching.
Let's go into my...
I'll describe yours and you describe mine, I guess.
Folder. My folder. So... Is that the cats I can hear?
Yeah, one's snoring.
I wondered. The whole time I was like, what the hell is that noise? So... Here is a picture of my side profile.
Oh, amazing.
Before. And this is one that I usually use for reference when I show most people. And you can see, like, it's not just...
Yeah, it's like a kind of hook nose.
Yeah, it was hooked, and my nostrils are very large. I also had quite a bulbous tip as well.
I would not have noticed the nostrils.
Yeah.
I noticed like the nose. And I noticed like a lot of Italians have that nose.
Yeah.
And they tend to get that. I think so many nose drops in Italy.
Yeah, they do. Hang on, I've got another folder. I've got
two folders.
I got 3 folders. I've got so many folders. It's actually ridiculous. This is also another side profile photo of me.
Oh, okay.
So you can see it's not just the nose, it's the chin was smaller, my cheekbones kind of didn't exist. My under eyes are empty.
The thing is though, you kind of look like, I just gonna sound mean, but you know in old paintings...
I'm preparing myself.
You know in old paintings when like the women were kind of like, had quite simple faces.
Yeah, no.
And it's weird thing to say simple.
No, but I kind of do here look like them. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's weird. It's weird looking at this picture and
it's just small changes that make such a dramatic difference. That's the craziest thing.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, I see other women with large noses and they look amazing and they're so beautiful, but I felt like it just didn't suit my face. So I don't know how you're gonna...
if you go to Instagram and on my profile and...
okay.
So I'd rate you... I must admit, would I date you?
No, but wait, but I was showing you the worst pictures.
Oh no, I think that's enough, right?
You don't want to see a picture of me done up back then?
Oh yeah, come on, let's see you done up.
Because...
Looking your best. Well, I only have like 2 pictures of me, or 1 picture, I think.
Let me go onto my photos because they're the photos that I use to get the biggest sort of shock response from people, because they're the ones where I perceive myself to be looking, you know, really awful. Okay, so this is one of me.
Oh, you look mean. That's so surprising.
Okay,
but it's
maybe
not
that's
unattractive.
not
it's just mean.
Do I really?
like angry.
Do I still look mean here?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe I just gave off like a mean vibe.
I just would like think that person have so much attitude that I probably wouldn't say hello because I'd be scared. I'd be like,
interesting.
Right, if I say hello, because it's not unattractive at all. Like done up, definitely not unattractive.
Yeah, no, like I said, I wasn't.
But just I wouldn't have. I wouldn't say. I'd say really
mean.
unapproachable.
I was mean and unapproachable.
So maybe, yeah.
So it's interesting that you can get that just from a single picture.
So maybe it's about how you felt inside more than about how you looked.
Definitely.
Okay, I had like a phase of a year, I think, when I didn't have.
I'm excited.
Like acne.
Did you say this lasted until you were 21?
Yeah, but I had like 1 year where it went away.
That's
and then
a really
it came
long
back.
time.
Yeah, it was horrendous. So you can't see it that well because they didn't have HD in those days. But it was the photo on the left.
Ah, this is the one.
Yeah.
I saw this the other day.
But it's like,
you know,
that's 16-year-old me.
you know what? I'm not even saying this to be nice. I actually think you look really cute. And I think you look quite attractive. Terrible.
Honestly, nobody was interested in me back then.
I think you look really cute. Like, I'm loving the whole Kurt Cobain style hair.
Yeah, I was in like a metal band.
Of course you were.
All that
definitely
stuff.
Give off that vibe.
And it was because I honestly think I went into that culture because it was like, okay, I'm ugly, so I'm going to make myself ugly deliberately.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did as well. Yeah. Like, I'm going to wear the trench coats and the black chokers and everything black and doom and gloom and hang around in graveyards.
It's like, I'm not going to follow fashion. And it's like,
it's okay, I'm a reject now.
You all look the same and copy each other's clothes, but you're not following.
I actually think you look quite cute here. So you were 16 here?
So maybe we would have dated if we were just approachable to each other.
Maybe. But you already said that you wouldn't approach me.
I would be scared. Maybe I would just be too shy to. Because, I'd just think, oh, that girl looks a bit, like,
to be honest, I was a lot meaner back then. So, I mean, I can be mean now, but I'm generally a nicer person. But I was really quite like...
I've never seen you be mean to someone that didn't deserve it.
Exactly. I can be very mean, but it's... usually 99.9% of the time is justified.
Yeah.
When someone is being a dick and they deserve it. But I think you look very cute.
Oh, thank you. You look attractive, just not approachable. So I think it's just, I think honestly, maybe it's more about what's inside. I know it sounds like a cliche, but...
No, I agree, it is. Because you radiate this energy and people have actually said to me, you're so much nicer now. Like, when I see, I don't know, say I go into a coffee shop and the barista is that word for that, behind the till, say I really like her hair or her makeup, I will tell her, I'm like, by the way, I love your hair. By the way, I love your makeup. And these are things that I never would have done before. And they're just nice things that probably like makes her day,
Yeah, and I also find I give more compliments as I'm older.
You just feel better inside. And I feel like I want to make people feel good as well. God, that's like the nicest thing I've ever said. Don't publish this.
I think we need to throw away almost everything we've said so far about how to be more attractive. And it's more just do whatever you need to do to feel good.
Yeah.
And like whatever it is, if you have to change something to feel better about yourself, do it.
If you need surgery, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously.
If it's your clothes, if it's like reading a crappy self-help book.
Yeah.
But the thing you should not do is go the other way and like hide.
No, absolutely. Like you should always try and fix what you perceive to be wrong with you, whether or not that's your looks or
just
the
enough
way you're
to
dressing
feel confident.
Or your attitude, and it really changes how you are as a person.
And money is a big one for men. I know a lot of, like, I was talking to a friend the other day. He's also nearly 40. And he was saying that...
What do you mean also?
Also, thank you so much. Oh my God. And, he said that if he goes into a bar in England, he feels underdressed and like he's not wealthy enough.
Where is he from?
From London.
Oh, okay.
But he says he prefers Hungary because people don't dress up as much.
Yeah, okay.
So he feels more confident approaching people and talking to them.
Yeah.
So, if you have to just dress wealthier to feel good, that's fine too. I think just whatever armor you need to boost your confidence.
Yeah. Like I recently started for the first time in my life, because I'm now escorting, investing in really luxury high-end lingerie.
I saw that.
That's like 400, 500 pound a bra. And I never would have done that before. And, when I wear it, I'm just like, wow,
You know what I hate about luxury clothes is people only ever compliment my expensive clothes.
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it was worth it. But like, come on, please compliment the cheap stuff so I don't feel bad about wearing it.
Yeah, I know. Like it just feels really nice, you know. It's like, wow, I'm actually
It looks amazing. I saw the photos.
Yeah, it's like you're investing in yourself. And
yeah, and you even wore it for like on a porn shoot. I was like, what?
Yeah.
How did they get like...
I was like, I wouldn't have done it if the company wasn't so for sex work, because they really are, luckily. But if not, I would have been like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I don't think they're going to be happy with their fancy lingerie in this porn video.
All right, let's wrap up though. I think we've helped people hopefully feel better about themselves and at least know what they need to do to be more confident and know it's a long process.
I think to sum it up, be funny. Being funny and having a sense of humor, not taking yourself too seriously is very attractive. And even having fake confidence, even if you don't actually feel confident, like just like they say, fake it till you make it. That's absolutely just whatever you need to do to feel confident. Yeah, just have to do it. If you need a nose job, then save up for a nose job. If you need a boob job, then do that. Yeah, there is a time where it may become unhealthy, but let's not get onto that now. Just we're building up. Just do what you need to do, you know? Yeah. And it may take years, it may take months, years, 10 years. I don't know. It can be a very long process, but it's worth it in the end. Definitely. And I'd say if people have questions about anything we've talked about or they want advice, just like tweet me or Lenina publicly. I'm at Ask McTommy and Lenina's at, what's your Twitter? X Lenina Crowne. And you're on OnlyFans, and where else can people find you? Where else can they find me? Many vids, and on my website, my escort website as well. Yeah, meet Lenina. Yes. It's on my Linktree, which is in my Instagram bio. Yeah, so find us on social media and you can see all our stuff. You can see my porn site and there's lots of sex advice articles. Sex advice from me is very good. Very, very good. They're really good articles. I read a lot of them. You learned a lot? I learned so much. Stuff I never knew. I love the idea that I'm writing sex advice. It just cracks me up. It is quite funny. It's like sometimes how to be bang average in bed. Yeah, but even that is helpful for actually, a lot of men. That's true. A lot of men could be bang average, and that would be considered great. Yeah, my project at the minute is teaching girls how to kiss. It just turns me off so much when you meet a girl and you get on really well and they just don't know how to kiss. They just open their mouth, they ram the tongue in the mouth. You're meant to follow each other's rhythm and I'd say most people don't do that. If you want to start using tongue, you don't immediately go in with the full thing. You do a little tip and you tease see if they reciprocate. It's like a dance. And if they, then you start, you don't just like... bad kisses. We need to do a full podcast. That's a topic for another day. On kissing, yeah. I agree. It's just so gross when the tongue's attacking you and it's like... Right? Or like they're just not following what you're doing. No, they're just in... I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I am gross. Here, you know. Yeah. In the hands are just like by the side. Yeah. People not moving. People are very strange. Yeah. All right. So thanks so much for being on the podcast. Thank you for having me. Yeah, you're really good. I haven't spoken too much shit, so... No, you've been amazing. That's a good sign. It's been really good. Good. All right.